Hi, Kim. How are you today?
Hi, Veronique. I'm doing excellent. Thank you
Great.
for having me.
I'm so happy to talk to you today. We love here to have, coaches and talking about meditation, transformation. We're gonna have a lot to talk about today.
Yes.
So, you're a transformational coach. You have a
Mm-hmm.
transformative coaching program, and you guide people and you empower them and you inspire them to awaken their soul. So let's talk about this. What was the pivotal moment that led you to step into your purpose and you said, okay, I want to be a transformational coach and energy healer also?
Yeah, so there's a few things that I do and that leads people through transformation. I'm also an intuitive channel, energy healer, and I'm a medium too, and also a hypnotherapist. So through those modalities, I assist people in moving through transformation. So, I mean, the basis, I would say, the work it is that I do is I help people create their ideal life, whatever that life looks like for them. The way we do that is we identify, well, what's holding you back from living that ideal life? And then once you identify that, you can go in and dissolve what's holding you back and resolve it back into love again, because it's really just imbalances within ourselves. So once we do that, then it creates a clear path forward. And I'd say that the three pillars of the work it is that I do is as an intuitive channel. So I channel higher wisdom to assist my clients in navigating their life, but I also teach them from the highest place. Because once you start navigating your life or you're living from the highest you, then you're calling in those realities also. And then life changes. But I also teach people how to do that for themselves because I feel that that is the most empowering thing that you can do for yourself. And so I teach people how to do that. So the first pillar of the work that I do is engage the soul, because once you engage the soul will tell you all it is you need to know. From there, we can purify your energy through energy healing because, we go through life and there's a lot of suppressed pain and trauma that we carry within ourselves and our body and our organs. And as they say, there's issues in our tissues. So you can go in and release that which isn't serving anymore and imprint with something like divine love. And that changes everything. You can do that across all time and space, across all parallel realities, seen and unseen. And that's incredibly supportive. There's really nothing that energy healing can't support with, whether it be just pain and discomfort, whether it is strengthening your spiritual connection. Actually, Veronique, I'll share my own personal life. I was having energy work done on me when I was going through certification. And it was in that energy healing where Archangel Michael appeared and I could see him. And he helped to embody, or I should say, anchor in a higher consciousness belief that, you know what, you can do whatever it is you set your mind to. Because at that time, I had one foot in the corporate world, one foot in this world. And when that happened, it was like, instead of it just being a concept, because I know we've all heard that you can do what you put your mind to, but it's one thing to hear it. It's another thing to believe it and feel it in your body. And it was during that energy healing session where I felt it in my body and I knew it to be true. So you can purify your energy field through energy healing and all kinds of beautiful things happen. And then the third pillar of my work is as a hypnotherapist, we go and we upgrade your mind
Upgrade. Okay.
because everything starts with the thoughts, with the mind. So if you want to create something new in your life, then you will need to know what it is your beliefs are around that. And then once you understand that, you can work on letting go of those beliefs and replacing them with new ones. And that's what hypnosis helps us, assist us in doing. Now, we can also do those things for ourselves, but I just find that when you engage the soul, you purify your energy field and you upgrade your mind, it just creates a beautiful experience for powerful transformation to happen. So that's
Yeah.
that's the basis of the work I do. It's all about personal power through self-awareness and self-empowerment. people can work with me on an individual, one-on-one basis, but I also offer coaching programs for somebody who, is really looking to create beautiful shifts in their life. And that's what some of my coaching programs do. I offer a few of them. But yeah, and I also have a meetup group that's focused on spiritual and personal development. And I teach
Okay.
workshops, and I I speak to beautiful people like you who's just spreading beautiful messages out to your community with all of your guests. And so those are some of the things that I do in my work.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about this in details.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot to unpack here. So first of all, I'm very interested, sorry, about the Archangel Michael, because this is not the first time I hear about this angel appearing to people. So I want to know, do you have to be special? How do you get to this? Because it's always under deep meditation, I know. Oh, you said you were a medium. Did you always knew that you were a medium? When you started meditating deeply, you
No,
could feel
no, I
something
didn't.
different?
No, I used to be afraid of that.
Yeah, me too. I am very afraid of this.
Yeah, I used to be afraid of that. I'll tell you. So part of my heritage is Hawaiian. I'm of Hawaiian ancestry. And
Hmm.
they have so many like ghost stories and things like that I grew up with that I used to be afraid of that. And then lo and behold, I came into this awareness and ability. But so yeah, no, I didn't know that I was a medium until the pathway that led me to that ability and my own spiritual gifts started with meditation.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes. Plus, it's also part of my soul's journey and path here. That's not by mistake. It's just, it happened, was divinely inspired, divine timing when it all came into be. So, for the first 15 years of my work experience, I spent in the entertainment industry. Very, very different. I went to graduate school, and I thought I would, climb the corporate ladder and follow that very traditional path. And I did for a while, and it served a purpose at that time. And then I was becoming very interested in meditation, and it was through that led me down the path it is ultimately that I'm on today, which is living my life's purpose and passion. Really, I'm very passionate about this work because I see what it does for us in our lives. It completely elevates the life it is we live, and it shows us how that is. What am I trying to say? It shows us how it's possible to elevate our life, and it's a natural organic process that unfolds when you come down this journey of self-awareness, self-discovery, meditation, connecting inward, all of these things. Now, it doesn't mean that once you do that, everybody becomes, a medium or whatever, although I believe that's a part of our natural ability as spirit first. So it's a very natural part of who we are. It's just we've been taught differently. So a lot of the work that I do is teaching the opposite of what we've been taught, and the opposite of what we've been taught is our higher self. And so once you learn how to connect with that aspect of you, then you will be taught all it is you need to know. And that's what becomes incredibly empowering. That's why it's the basis of the work I do. That's why it is a part of the free offering that I give is I have a step-by-step written tutorial on how to do that. And also a bonus video where we go I do it with you in a video. And so you don't have to question, am I doing it right? Is that you just follow me and we do it together. And that is actually the same process that I took that opened up all of my abilities and my awareness. Now, all of our souls have a different mission here. This just so happens to be mine. But I think it's life changing. Not I think it is life changing when you start to connect to that part of you that holds the answers. I can't even tell you how it is supported me in my life in every aspect of my life. It's not anything that, your higher self is the aspect of you that's already achieved all it is you desire. So why wouldn't we want to connect with that part of us? Now
Yeah.
you can connect with your higher self, you can connect with the higher self of another person to bring in greater clarity and awareness into the dynamic of a relationship that might be. And in fact, this morning alone, I'll share a personal story. There was a situation with a person that I was very concerned about, their health, and it was causing me a lot of fear. And what I did was, well, first, yesterday I had to address those fears within me, and we have the power to do that and to create change there where it is, we notice these things that might come up within us from time to time, but that's the power of the mind, and we could talk about that too. But I went into meditation this morning and I connected with my higher self that gave me deeper information around this person's experience and why it was there. And then I connected with that person's higher self, and that person's higher self shared all with me that I needed to bring so much peace and comfort around the importance of that experience, that challenge that they were going through. That was a part of what they needed to experience in order to grow in a certain way, which was one of their missions in this lifetime, was to experience a growth in a certain way, and that experience was going to give that to them. So once it is you have that understanding, that inner knowing, then it can bring so much peace around anything, and you don't take things as personally, and it allows you to move forward with greater ease, all of that beautiful stuff, instead of getting caught in the spiral of, let's say, negative thinking, or thinking of, being fearful, for example. Now, just to address your question earlier of Archangel Michael, do you have to be special? Well, the answer to that question is you have to be you. That's it, because we are all special. We are not, there's not one that's above another. There's no hierarchy. We are all special, and we are all deserving of, and we are all worthy of that experience, if that's what is going to support you at any given time on your path. And that's the experience it is that you can have. You see, you are the creator of that experience. For me, it was incredibly important because now I can share that experience on podcasts like this to show people what is possible. And it also was, when you anchor in a higher consciousness belief, then that changes everything.
Do you know why he's always the one coming in? Because it's not the first time I hear, Archangel Michael. Like there's no other name. It's always this one coming in. Maybe you don't know,
Well,
but I'm
I
just,
mean,
asking
there's
if
all
you
the
do.
archangels that you
But
can work with. He's not the only
it's not
one
the
that
first
will
time that's
come
the one
in.
appearing.
Are you there, Veronique? Oops, looks like we were disconnected. So you asked the question, why is it always Archangel Michael that comes in? And the answer is it isn't. There are different archangels that can support you with different aspects of your life, or that maybe you might have a resonance with on a soul level. I have a stable connection. So that's, or maybe a contract with on a soul level of who's going to be supporting you in this life. Now, I've worked with, different archangels. Archangel Gabriel is a big one of my main guides, actually. And I just did a beautiful transmission with Archangel Gabriel that came through just last week about our human potential. So at that point in time, it was Archangel Michael that came through, but you know, I've worked with the other archangels as well. And I just want to make clear that we all have the ability, to connect with any of the archangels, and they are just loving us and willing to support us in any time it is that they receive an invitation with us to connect. They are they are incredibly excited to do so, is just what I'm hearing now.
Okay, you're having a session right now.
Yes, right.
All right. So when you meditate, how long do you meditate? Because for some people, and even for myself, it's very hard to meditate just to, be calm and don't think about anything. That's why I'm becoming a sound healer now. And it's really good because I can help people meditate for like an hour. I do a guided
Beautiful.
meditation, and the vibration of the sound of the music. It's like an hour where you're like, okay, I'm out. And I think sometimes it's really nice to be guided. So what about you? Do you meditate for 30 minutes, an hour?
It just depends, Veronique. I started off with 5 minutes a day.
Yeah, you have to start small. Yes.
you start small. And then I was feeling so much love inside that 5 minutes turned into 15, turned into a half hour, turned into an hour. And I couldn't believe I had been sitting there in silence for an hour. But there was just so much love and joy that was coming through. That is, wow, who would want to leave that place, you know? So there's no time limit, just start small, and it's wonderful. There's so many different ways that it is that we can connect to our own inner wisdom, and sound healing is one of them.
Yeah,
Sound.
it is.
Yes, it's one of them. So whatever works for you, there's no instruction manual. And there might be, you might be drawn to sound healing now and then all of a sudden feel more compelled to sit in silence and find that, wow, you know what, it's actually works for you now in ways that it maybe didn't before. So that's a part of our spiritual development and evolution is, yeah, new ways of doing things begin to unfold. A higher perspective begins to take form. You might be guided to try something new. Maybe it is going to take a walk or a hike in nature, and that's how you're connecting in. Maybe it's a combination of ways that you connect in.
Yeah. Does it help you with the hypnotism? Because you said you're also in hypnotism. So does
I
it
find that
combine?
yes, I find that it does, Veronique, because in my sessions, I feel I connect to the energy and I'm connecting to that person. And I go into a little bit of a trance myself, I have found. But that helps just a very relaxed state because I'm working with the energies. So yes, I do feel that it has helped me. And I notice that in my sessions how I'm connecting to that person's energy. And also, I'm also connecting upward to my own higher self that's guiding me through, because hypnosis sessions are not predictable. You never know where that person's subconscious mind is going to guide them. Their higher self is going to guide them. So, I have to be able to move with how the session unfolds and see how I'm guided, what to take, what that maybe next step is to guide them through that journey, that process. So, yes, it's very, very helpful.
Okay. So to go back from the beginning, so you were working in entertainment and then you had that calling. So you actually hired yourself a coach before becoming one, right?
Yes, yes.
Did
And
it help you a lot? Was it like
I
see the
will,
light?
well, first of all, I was always, doing some kind of mentorship and stuff more on the spiritual side. Because it just felt good to be in that energy all the time. But there does come a time, and that's not uncommon when we start to connect in that way. It just feels so good. Like we just want to stay there. But then there will come a time where it is you have to actually go out into the world and apply things and evolve in different ways. And one of those ways for me was with business. So ironically enough, even though I went to graduate school for business and spent 15 years in the business, it's different. I find when you become an entrepreneur and you are the CEO now. So the thing is, and this is why I teach people how to work with their mind and their intuition, is because the intuition is going to guide you. It's going to show you what next steps are. It's always going to lead you to higher grounds. It's going to push you beyond your comfort zone through the wisdom that comes through so that you can move into an expanded state, into an elevated state, and you get to realize more of your potential, the potential of your potentiality. However, then you will have to follow that up with taking actionable steps. And it's your
Yeah, but
mind that is going to either be the catalyst that moves you forward or that holds you back. So what happened was, my intuition was guiding me to expand my practice. It's time to expand out. And I was feeling it inside, like, yeah, I'm excited about it. That's right. That's what I feel I want to do in here. This is where, I want what my next creation is going to be. So I was all excited. I'm getting started, I'm doing all the things. And then before I knew it, I was hitting really serious roadblocks and feeling incapable of seeing my dream through, of expanding my practice and my work in the way it is I desired. And so, did that stop me in my tracks? And I had to take a look at what was going on within me because I had never felt incapable in my life in that way. I really hadn't. And I think for that reason, I really feel that entrepreneurship is one of the most courageous paths that one can take in this lifetime.
I
That's
know.
my
I'm
own
doing it
personal
right now.
opinion. What's that?
I'm doing it right now. So yeah,
Yes, yes,
it's
because
a lot
it's
of
going
work.
to it'll show you where your limitations are. I feel like in a much faster way than maybe other career paths would. One of the things that I realized was, when you're working in a corporate world, it's like you've got all these systems and support teams in place. And then you become an entrepreneur and you are the system.
Yes, I'm a pro now. Okay. So you said you were feeling
See
unattrapable.
here. Did I do that? Okay. Yes. I was feeling for the first time in my life, I felt really incapable. Yeah. And what I'd soon discovered what it was, I had a flawed mindset. And so I had to work with my own mindset to move the needle forward. And yeah. And once I uncovered what that mindset was, it was a feeling of being incapable. But when I dug down deeper, I realized that
Yeah.
the bigger belief around that was that I had to do everything by myself. I had to do it all alone. And so, well, boy, that's impossible, right? To do everything by myself and be a wife, a mother, a cheer mama, this, or that, build my business. Right. So once I recognized that, then I was able to create shifts where I needed them to be in order to support my vision and my dream. So yeah, that anytime it is you want to up level, you're going to have to understand or know what your beliefs are
Yes,
around
that's
that.
true.
Because your current reality is a reflection of your current mindset. So if you want to up level, then that means you're going to have to up level your mind too. You literally have to change your personality. And people and that might sound kind of harsh, but it's true because your personality makes up your beliefs, your thoughts, how you feel about things, and then that inspires your actions. So if you have the mindset of well, things never work out for me, so why even try? Right? Then how you feel about yourself, well, how does that make you feel about yourself? Doesn't make me feel good, right? I feel my confidence low. I don't feel confident. Things never work out for me. Well, if you have that belief and that's how you feel, then what are you going to do? Are you going to take actionable steps? No, you're not. You're going to withdraw and keep repeating the same life it is that you've had, and then that then reinforces the belief.
Is that
So
something that you
if
help
you
with
want to
in
up
your
level in
program?
any way, you
Yeah.
literally have to change your personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as absolutely. That's the one of the foundations of, the work it is that I do is uncovering what are your beliefs. So I'll give an example of how that works. So I had a client, we were just getting started in my coaching program. I said, "Well, what's your main goal?" And she says, "I want to build wealth. I want to create as much money for myself as I can." And then she said, "Whoa, whoa, wait a second. Hold on. Let's come back to that." And I said, "Well, why do you want to come back to that? What's going on with what just happened?" And she said, "Well, that doesn't sound very genuine." She says, "That just sounds kind of," what word did she use? Just disingenuous. And I said, "Well, how is it that you want to live your life?" And she said, "I want to live my life from an authentic place." And I said, "Well, if you're holding the belief that you want to live your life authentically and you can't be authentic if you're building wealth for yourself, then that is a limiting belief. And your mind will literally sabotage opportunities that come your way that would allow you to build that wealth for yourself." But she didn't have that awareness. And a lot of times we don't because it's unconscious, it's in the subconscious mind. But the subconscious mind represents to 95% of our mind, and it's a database storage unit that literally holds all of your beliefs, emotions, experiences, everything. And that's really what's running the show. So when you start working with your subconscious mind, then you can create beautiful strides forward, understanding what those beliefs are. But when we're not holding that awareness, she just didn't have that awareness that that's a belief she had, but yet that it was contradicting the goal it is that she wanted for herself. And so what happens is we find ourselves a year from now in the same place that we were because we just keep repeating the same patterns, what it is we've always known, because the mind will keep us in a familiar place. So what had become familiar to her was that I want to be authentic. And I can't be authentic if I'm, my goal is to generate as much wealth as I possibly can. So that's where it's very, very important to work with the mind. If I held the mindset that I wasn't capable in expanding my business, then that's where I would be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be moving the needle forward. So your desire too has to be greater than any obstacle. That has to be, than any obstacle. And what happens, you can reprogram your mind by thinking differently, by taking actionable steps, by
Mm,
creating new habits. So that's something else that I work with my clients on too, is creating new habits that incorporate everything from self-care to whatever it is, that goal it is that you're looking to achieve. So I love this quote that
mm.
I heard from
Yeah, that's a
Anthony
good one.
Robbins the other
Yeah.
day. It says, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. And
Yeah. I
that
was gonna ask if you
that is
rewind,
incredibly
you
true.
rewinding,
But
people
creating new
people
habits
mind,
is
and that's exactly what
reprogramming
you
the
do. Because you
mind.
said that your intuition is your greatest superpower. So I guess this is how you help people, new habits, new thinking.
Well, yes, it is your superpower. I can't even tell you how much more. I mean, when we're not, since your highest self is your expanded you, when you're not living from that place, you're living from a lot smaller, you're living small. You're living small. So when you combine your intuition and your mindset, then you're living in much greater potential than you could ever live. And the thing is, I study a lot of people's work, like high performers out there, really successful entrepreneurs, and they all know this. The ones that I follow, they are carving out, it's a part of their daily habits. To work with the aspect of them, that wisdom within them, and to also work with the mind. And the most empowering thing I feel is that we all have intuition. We all have a mind. It is within us. It's not without us. It's not outside of us. So it doesn't get any more empowering than that, than to be able to work with our and understand how each works, our own internal resources to create the life it is that we desire. Most people don't even realize that they're creating their experiences in every moment. A lot of people that come to me feel disengaged, they're uninspired with a life that they feel like looks like the same day in and day out, and it does, unless you upgrade your mind, because the mind will always take you back to what's familiar. It's primitive. It's not logical, it's purposeful, and its purpose is to keep you safe. So that's what it does. An example of this, Veronique, is I have a client that I work with who, her dream and vision was to create a business, but she had been 20 years working in the field that she was in. And what we uncovered was, she was showing up late to our coaching sessions, and she wasn't following through with the goals that we had set. And what we uncovered in that process was that she was holding on to her old identity. She wasn't stepping into her new identity of this dream and vision that she had for herself. So she was
Mm.
prioritizing work. Oh, I've gotten all these new responsibilities, and I couldn't leave work any earlier. So she was denying herself of her dream and her vision, but she didn't realize that. She was saying that she had guilt of leaving the people on her team who depended on her by stepping into her dream and her vision. So that's what the mind will do too. It'll bring in things like guilt to keep you safe and keep you in a state of what is familiar. But once you understand that, then you can go, wow, I was holding on
And
to that
sometimes you have to
old
leave some people
identity
behind
because that's
because they will
much
keep
more
you from
familiar.
getting,
That's what keeps me
your
safe.
dreams.
That's what I know. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, that was just something her mind
Yeah.
was telling her. That wasn't even the issue. It was just something her mind was telling her to keep her in what was familiar, you see? So we have to think differently. We have to think a different way and take different action when it is we want to create something new. We're programmed to the level of the reality it is we are living. And the mind, learns through repetition. So you have to keep repeating to the mind what it is you are wanting to create. And then the mind
Do you
goes,
work with like mantras
that's our new
in
reality
your
now. That becomes what's
meditation or
familiar. And the
affirmation,
old
like on
reality
this
then
and
becomes
that? And
unfamiliar.
talking about repetition. Yeah.
I absolutely do. That's a part of reprogramming the mind. So, yes, you can uncover what your limiting belief is. So, I just did this the other day, Veronique. So, I was realizing I was having fear come up. And I'll have to say, this was one of the most strongest levels, palpable feelings of fear that I think I've ever felt. And it was really, boy, it was really disruptive to, it was disruptive on all levels. It was that strong, that palpable. And that's not common for me. Like, again, I don't stay down for long, but I have to work with that fear and actually set time aside, prioritize that. You see, once you start elevating consciousness, you recognize the importance of prioritizing yourself first. So the old way of being might have been, nope, I've got all this work I need to do. I've got to do this, that, and the other. And that takes priority. Well, when you start to elevate in the consciousness, you start to recognize the value of you. So it's not always easy, but it's through awareness. That's why I say personal power through awareness. You go, wait a second. I'm going to carve out this time for me because I really want to get to the bottom of what this fear is. So you can work with your subconscious mind to show you, well, wait a second. What is the fear that I'm feeling? And it will, like Chat GBT, if you were to say,
Okay.
what fear am I feeling? Chat GBT spits it out in bullet points. Your subconscious mind will do that for you too. So once you uncover what those limiting beliefs are, for me was beliefs that created feelings of fear, then you can say, wait a second. No, those are not the beliefs it is that I want. And so, well, what I asked myself the next one, well, what belief is it? What beliefs do I want?
The
And you
limiting
can
belief I
address
have
each one
for
of those
myself, it doesn't
limiting
happen often, but it
beliefs
happens
and turn it
in a
into a
while when
belief it is that
I
you
really want
do
something
want.
and that thing happened very fast and very good. I have like imposter syndrome. I'm like, what? Did it really happen? Or is it really going to happen? I'm like, I don't think, do I deserve this? And after I get over it quickly,
Mhm.
but I always have that feeling if it happens too fast, then because I really worked on it, I meditate or I really visualized a lot of stuff, and I work on it. Of course, I did step to work on it. But when it happens very fast. I've always that imposter syndrome. You don't belong here.
And
You
what does
shouldn't
that
be here.
imposter syndrome tell
It
you?
is not for
What do you
you.
say to yourself with that?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't work enough to get it.
You shouldn't be
Yeah,
here.
that's this one
This is not
the
for
most. Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Uh-huh. You didn't work enough to get it. So let me share something with you that I used when
Hmm.
I came across imposter syndrome in a particular situation. So you can work with the power of your mind here too, because not only can your subconscious mind tell you
Listening.
what your limiting belief is, but it can also tell you why it's not true. Okay. So, and it will remind you because again, it's like a database storage unit, right? That's filed away all the reasons, all the things that would show you why you do belong there. why you have worked hard enough, why you are deserving enough. And that is pretty eye-opening too. It'll bring up things, I do this oftentimes in workshops that I hold. My signature workshop is called Architect Your Destiny, learn how to create your ideal life through mindset mastery and intuition development. So when we start working with the mind, when you start working with the mind, it is unbelievable what it will show you are your beliefs. But then when you go, wait a second, I don't believe that I deserve this because I haven't worked hard enough. Boy, it'll be like a filing cabinet that opens with files that come up of all the reasons why you deserve that. The, credentials that you have, the work experience that you have, the people you've supported with your knowledge and wisdom, everything. It'll show you this experience. Oh yeah, remember that when that happened? Oh yeah, remember this? It's amazing. And so you can go from one state of being
Okay.
to an elevated state of being within minutes. Within minutes. That's how powerful your mind is. That's how powerful you are. That's how empowered you are. So when you have those imposter syndrome beliefs, right, it keeps you down. What happens when you have those beliefs? You will hold yourself back from taking actionable steps, moving the needle forward towards what it is you're desiring. But then you can go, wait a second, I know this isn't true. And I'm going to work with my mind to remember why it's not true. And your mind will help you with that too. Then you can take those beliefs and create them into positive affirmations for yourself, because the mind learns through repetition. You have to keep repeating what the new belief is. That's why hypnosis works, right? Because you might get a recording of that hypnosis where there are beautiful positive suggestions in that hypnosis that keep replaying, and you keep replaying, reprogramming the mind. But you can do that for
So is
yourself
it
too,
part of the oh, I don't know if
by
you
what
already
it
talked
is you
about that
tell
program,
yourself,
the
by those
Beyond
positive
Limits coaching program. Is that part of it?
affirmations. Yes. So, yes. So I have a coaching program. It's a 90-day coaching program that's called Beyond Limits. And I like to say it's an accelerated pathway to an elevated life. And that's what it does. It takes you beyond limitation. So when you start clearing up those limitations, you're living in much greater freedom.
Yes.
When you're living from a place of freedom,
I think that's what is scary.
opportunities
When it's
start
too
to
quick, you're
present
like,
themselves.
already?
And it's amazing what can happen, how quickly that can happen. Well, yes, you can hold yourself back from fear too, what
Yes. The
fear of
change. It's always
success
scary also, the change.
or fear of, your life shifting and changing, right? Well, it can be exciting though. So
It's
you can
exciting.
tell
Yeah.
yourself something different. You've been telling yourself it's scary when that happens. Tell yourself something different. It's exciting. Look at all the opportunities that are coming my way. Look at, what I can do now and how I can impact greater audiences, whatever it is that is opening up for you. So opportunities start to present themselves. Then you can start to consciously create your life from a whole different place, an elevated place. You're consciously doing it. People aren't usually consciously creating their life if they don't understand their part in creation, and they don't see themselves as creations or the creator. But once you do, life changes. So just like for me, that fear was coming up, and it was really like, it was a bit debilitating because my inspiration was overshadowed by the fear, my creativity gone out the window. How can you create when you're in a place of fear, right? How could I muster up the desire to, write an article or do something, that's a part of my work? Well, I couldn't. I had to take a look at that fear. And then once I was able to dissolve it by doing the things it is I know how to do and what I teach other people how to do it, now I'm like a whole new person. I'm like, let's go. Let's get this party started. I'm back, in the saddle again. I'm ready to move forward. So that's what's possible. We don't have to stay in that place. A lot of people that come to me, they feel stuck. They feel overwhelmed. They're wanting to feel excited, but they're not. They have this vision for themselves. They know that they're
Don't
meant
know
for
where to
more.
start
But
sometimes.
for
Yeah.
whatever reasons, they're holding themselves back. Again, from fear, maybe overwhelm, self-sabotage, you know, don't know where to start, don't know where to start. When you're clouded with lower consciousness beliefs, it holds a density to it. And that density will keep you stuck. But once you clear that up, you feel like you're holding the world in the palm of your hands. You always have been. You just couldn't see it because of those beliefs that would have you feeling and thinking and doing or not doing
Well, that's so good
what
that
it
you're doing
is
that
that
kind of
would allow
work,
you
and I hope
to
that people
live that dream
find
and
you
vision.
and do your program. Is that maybe something you want to add? I didn't ask because without even me asking, you answer a lot of my questions, and that was great. Is there something you want to add, for the listeners?
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah,
You know, you
that's
are
true.
you are meant. You didn't come here to play small. You did not. You did not come here to play small. That's not the truth of who you are. And if you are looking to create a higher life for you and those around you, then it is possible. It is absolutely possible. I just to go back earlier, when I said I hired myself a coach, you want to work with somebody who has done what it is you want to do. You don't want to spin your wheels, trying to figure it out and taking so much longer than is needed to get from point A to point B. You can do it in a much more I'm all about being effective and productive now. And I see the benefits because I've experienced it. If there's something that I want to learn, I will find the person who has done it successfully and I will learn from them and I will invest in me because I'm worth it. And because if you have a vision for yourself, that vision is there for a reason. That represents your potential. That represents what's possible. But we didn't come here to, do it alone. We didn't. And that's what we're being called to do. It's a part of our elevation of consciousness is what's called, right?
Amen
Unity
to this.
consciousness, coming
Yes,
together, supporting one
yes,
another, inspiring one another, encouraging one another, sharing with one another. Yes. So for that reason alone, I will never be without a mentor or coach ever, because if I can learn from somebody else, I'm there. So if there's something that I can support you with because I've already done it and I've done it successfully, I am here for you. I want everybody to step into their full potential because life takes on so much more meaning, purpose when we do that. And then it becomes very exciting. And then you want more of it.
yeah.
And that's
Now
your
learning that
that's
sound
your
meaning, I got
soul
a
in
mentor for the first
action,
time in my
That's
life.
why
I
I
never
teach
had a
people how to
mentor
connect
before.
to their soul.
And yeah,
That's what
this is
happens
one
when
of
you
the
do
great,
these things.
great thing to do for yourself. Like you said, invest in yourself. I love,
Yeah.
I love that.
Invest in yourself. So I just quickly, I had a mentor. I was taking a workshop, right? So yes, he was a mentor. And he said, what I'm about to teach you, I'm going to teach you this exercise. I'm going to teach you how to do, I forget what we were
Really?
learning, but he said,
The,
what I'm
he was
teaching
saying that, or
you,
it took you 5
I'm going
years?
to teach you in five
He was saying
minutes,
that.
but it
Okay.
took me 5 years to learn.
Okay.
Yes, he was saying that to his class. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm going to teach you, I'm going to teach you in 5 minutes, but it took me 5 years to learn. And why wait 5 years? Why wait 5 years when you could, be living an elevated life now? Why wait? We're being called to step to that, to recognize
Paradise.
our true potential.
We get
And
there one
just
day. We get there.
imagine what the world would look like if everybody was living from that place. Yes, but that's what's available to us. And here's the thing too, when we're doing that, we're contributing to the greater good. We are contributing to humanity because if I'm sharing my story and it inspires somebody, then they're inspired to do it. And then the people around them. And this is what happens. This is what I
Good.
notice. The people that are in my program, they come back to me. They in our sessions, they say, you know what? My family's noticing a change in me. My friends are asking me what I'm doing. So we have the ability to inspire other people by the choices it is we make and the life it is we're living.
Oh, it's beautiful. Thank
So
you
you
for
are
saying that.
in,
So where can
you
people
are
find you? I will put, of
contributing
course, everything in the show
to
notes.
humanity
So
when
where
you
can
do
they find
things
you?
like that. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So you can find me, the best way to find me, KimberlyThalken.com. That's just KIMBERLY. The last name, a little tricky, THALKEN.com. KimberlyThalken.com. You know, come come connect with me. Share with I want to know what your dreams are. What's your vision for you? Let's talk about that. Share that with
Okay.
me.
Okay, so we're
Share
just
that
going to
with
end
me. I
up with
want to
that. Thank you
hear.
very
I
much,
want to
Kimberly,
know.
for talking to us and
And
sharing all
ultimately,
your
I want to show
wisdom.
you
I
how
love the
that's
conversation.
possible.
And I think that we could have talked even more. So maybe you can come back, I don't know, for another topic, because I really, really love the conversation. I was just listening to you and like, okay, yeah, I
Thank
agree
you.
with everything she's saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're going to talk about that. So
I
outside of
would
the
be
podcast,
honored.
because yeah, I really like
There's
the
always
conversation.
more to talk
Thank
about,
you, Kim.
and I would be honored. Beautiful. You're welcome. Thank you.